Okay, people, I'm going to tell you another ghost story while I eat chocolate. Now, I'm actually going to apologise to two people. I'm going to apologise to Outside, his channel, and I'm going to apologise to Outdoor Adventures and Travel, to Jeannie's channel, because these were supposed to be sent to you guys in your box that I'm sending you, but because of the weight issue, I decided I'm going to send your stuff bit by bit, and so I'm going to get you smaller chocolate bars, and I'm going to eat your giant chocolate buttons because I like them. So yeah, I have a confession to make. I'm eating your chocolate. You could try and stop me. Go on then, try and stop me. No, nothing to say. Fair enough, I'll carry on then. So I'm going to tell you a little ghost story, because people seem to be liking my little ghost stories. When I lived in my old house, my current best friend, like I go through them, you know, but you know, we didn't know each other when we moved in, but we were both pregnant at the same time. So we our houses were identical but kind of reversed, if that makes any sense. So our bedrooms were next to each other, and the boys' bedrooms were next to each other, with a wall, kind of, you know, thin wall between the two. So when Brendan was maybe 18 months old, because he was in a bed, or maybe he was nearly 2, maybe it was just before we moved, he woke up crying in the night. So I went into his bedroom and he wouldn't settle. So I lay him down and I climbed into bed next to him, and I lay there cuddling him, trying to settle him down. And I just got this overwhelming feeling that we were not alone. And I'm quite sensitive to things, and living in that house made it more so. But I just got this overwhelming sense that there was a girl of probably about 7 or 8. And if I looked at the end of the bed, I would see her. I was that convinced in my mind that we were not alone, and that I would see her. And it was probably about 6 in the morning, light, you know, the light was just coming up. But it terrified me, and I did not want to look. I was too scared to look. So anyway, I lay there kind of terrified, thinking this is ridiculous. I should just look. And in my mind, I kept just saying, go away. Go away, leave us alone, go away. Anyway, it was such a weird, intense experience. I never said anything to anyone because, you know, people think you're a bit strange. And then after we moved out of that house, probably a couple of years later, I had a conversation about ghosts and stuff with my friend Anna, who lived next door to us. And I said to her about an experience that I'd had an experience in that house when I lived next door to her, and her face changed, and she said, I've had an experience too. So I said, well, go on then. And she said she was dozing on the sofa mid-afternoon when William, who is 4 months younger than Brendan, was having a nap. It would have been within months of my experience. It was very close to my experience because of the age of William. And she said he was having a nap in his cot upstairs, and she was dozing on the sofa downstairs. Sun was coming in through the living room, and she felt like she'd half woken up. And in the living room, in front of her, as she opened her eyes, even though she wasn't awake, in front of her was a little girl grinning at her, of about 7 or 8, in a dress, just looking at her with long hair. And Anna just had this feeling that this girl was going to go running upstairs to William in his cot. And she lay there, and this little girl looked at the doorway and then looked back at Anna as if to say, I'm going to go. And she ran. And so Anna, in her sort of sleep days, you know, she kind of sleep dreamt, kind of half awake, half asleep, that she'd got up and run to the stairs and followed her up the stairs. And this little girl was leaning over William's cot. And that she said, I can't remember the phrase she used, but in her mind she was like, in the name of God, I command you to leave, or something like that. Neither of us are particularly religious, but in her mind, that's the phrase she said. And she woke up with this almighty panic, and she ran up the stairs, and everything was fine, but she just had this awful panic. And she said it wasn't a dream, because she was kind of sleep paralysed. And I know you can have sort of weird experiences when you're sort of sleep paralysed. But it just seemed really odd that I'd had such an intense feeling literally a couple of months beforehand. We worked it out. It was literally not the same month, a couple of months beforehand. It was the same summer. The boys were the same age. And we'd both had this intense feeling of a little girl in a dress, long hair, who was really interested in the children, in the boys. And like I said, neither of us mentioned this to each other when it happened. We're talking probably 2-3 years later during a conversation about ghosts and hauntings and stuff. And I've never got to the bottom of it. I mean, it could have just been a feeling. It could have just been nothing. You know, nothing actually happened. But it just seems a bit odd that we both had this same intense feeling and image of a little girl. You know, kind of same description at the same time. Just seemed very odd. So yeah, I'm going to finish eating this chocolate now because it's melting in my hands. And yeah, that is my second ghost story. The little girl who was obsessed with babies. Give me your thoughts.